Through my research, I hope to find vast differences and similarities in slavery in Rome/Greece and slavery in America throughout the years. After conducting deep research, I hope to record a podcast telling my findings and explaining what slave life was like in both parts of the world. I hope to take a deeper dive into the similarities and differences of slavery in the United States and Greek as I learned through my courses. To begin with, I have decided to dive into American slavery. From approximately 7th grade forward, I have learned about American slavery, but until this year, I did not have a full understanding. This year, in my college-level history class, I was exposed to new primary and secondary sources that expanded my understanding, whereas in my previous education, there was always safety goggles on, and therefore, I was not able to have a full grip on the whole story. An example of this can be taken away when I first learned about Jim Crow laws. I knew they were awful, but was taught of them as being, quote, in the past, end quote. I did not understand that these laws made white supremacy legal, and really gathered that this year. As we dove deeper into slavery and how it shaped the society, we looked deeper into what it was like at the time of Jim Crow and earlier. What shocked me this year, after taking the safety goggles off, was the dehumanization of the slaves as seen in newspaper articles. This can be noticed when looking at things for sale in the Memphis Daily. Quote, pumpkin seeds, lemon syrup, and valuable N-words for sale. End quote. And a list for household items also contains the sale of people, which depicts how nonchalant everyone viewed owning slaves. Jim Crow laws were used to legally segregate and successfully marginalized black people while denying them the right to vote, hold jobs, get an education, and other basic rights as citizen of the United States. Moreover, a white man at this time were allowed. What shocked me this year was, after taking off the safety goggles, was the dehumanization of the slaves as seen in the newspaper articles. This can be noted when looking at things for sale in the Memphis Daily paper. Quote, pumpkin seeds, lemon syrup, and valuable N-words for sale. End quote. In this list for household items, it also contains the sale of people, which depicts how normalized this dehumanization became. This year, I also noticed that I believed I had gotten all that I could from slavery, for I had already learned about it, and it seemed like I was learning the same thing over and over again. But I realized, just like other things, slavery has many layers, and it was taught to me with a lack of passion and more embarrassment from my previous teachers. David Bose, the author of Black History is American History, says, quote, I was asked not long ago what's the most important libertarian accomplishment in history. I said, the abolishment of slavery, end quote. I think the reason he said this is due to the fact that we are told this and understand this, but it's as soon as it becomes repetitive, it loses its historic meaning and all that went into slavery and all that it was. He also says racism is an age-old problem, but it clearly clashes with the universal ethics of libertarianism and the equal natural rights of all men and women. What I think is lost, end quote, sorry. What I think is lost is that slavery was the result of a need for social superiority, resulting in the enslavement of black people to create that hierarchy. This can be seen when slavery was abolished and so many people went out of their way to fight against it and even secede, as we saw in South Carolina. Slavery in the United States is embarrassing, awful, was so bad, and hurts so many people. But I think in order to move on and become a greater nation, we need to accept it, learn from it, and see all that our prejudice and racist ideas led us to where we ended up, and hopefully move forward together.